Should be live. Welcome to Tetsu Talk MMA. Today, UFC 223. I'm got my usual guest, my sports analyst Prince Dunn, but we got a new guest. Some people may know him as one of the indie horror's best directors. He got a lot of followers, so I believe so. None other than Edward Payson. First, as usual, introduce yourself, the one and only Prince Dunn.
What's going on, people? What's up, Apollo? What's cracking, man?
Same as usual. And the one and only indie horror. I don't know if pronounce introduce you right, Edward Payson. I don't know how you want your credentials to be introduced.
That was good enough. What's going on, man?
Good. Even though all those guys are, different, fields from acting to movies to football, we all love one thing, and that's MMA. And we're all here together to talk about UFC 223 because it's a huge card. It kind of got, I don't know, kind of got watered down a little bit to me. But I still like Holloway in this fight against Khabib. And today we're going to get our predictions on what's going on with this card. Actually, I'll be honest with you, I forgot to put up the actual card to go by fight. Prince Dunn, so what do you think about Khabib actually had to fight Holloway instead of fighting, Tony Ferguson? Sorry, we're live and I'm just, off beat a little
I
bit.
don't know, man. Like, I kind of have mixed. Kind of have mixed feelings, man, because I've been waiting for this fight for quite some time. You think about the matchup. With basically wrestling versus jiu-jitsu, and I was looking forward to that, man. Really was. It's one of those fights to where you see guys that specialize in one thing and they actually like go against one another, and so I'm kind of disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, like we're not going to give our predictions or anything like that yet, but at the same time on that fight. But how you feel about it, Ted? How you feel about this new matchup?
You know what? I think it was a little bit bittersweet because we got the announcement on April Fool's Day, and actually I think in the morning I posted something as a joke saying that the fight was off, and people were like, haha, very funny. And then later on in the same day it became not a joke. So at first I was like, oh, well, this sucks now. We're not going to be able to see something again. But I think I'm actually more excited about Holloway than I am about Tony, to be completely honest. The weaknesses I saw with Tony, I don't really see with Holloway, except for obviously if Khabib is able to take him down with ease and, ragdoll him. But I think Holloway's harder to take down, and I think that his stand-up is a few steps better than Tony, so I think he won't have a problem.
Yeah, I'll give my opinion on it later on because we're not on that fight yet. I just want to get a brief thought on what everybody think about this whole change at the last minute. I wanted to see, everybody wanted to see Tony and Khabib because they've been pretty much like head-to-head on number contender for a while in the UFC lightweight division, and for this fight to continue not to have happened yet is crazy. So it's always something that's going to happen, and I felt this for a minute that it was too good to be true. Every time it seemed like a card is too good to be true, something happens where it doesn't happen. It just you stuck with a card that was so hyped up, and then you get left with a card. Well, this card actually, I still feel like I'm going to get worth my money worth with a Holloway and a Khabib, though. But anyway, first fight on the main card, we're only doing main card predictions, is Al Aquina against none other than my boy, which I end up starting liking more and more as a commentator, Paul Felder. I get my predictions first. I think Paul Felder is getting better coming into his own, but I think Ottaquina is a better fighter. I think he's well more rounded. I think Paul Felder is getting there to be even more of a well-rounded fighter, but I don't think he's at Ottaquina's level. So I take Ottaquina in this fight. I say decision, but I can also see a finish. But I'll say decision Ottaquina in this fight. Done.
And it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight to call because you got a guy that's super active like Paul Felder, then you got another guy that fights once every blue moon. Every time the UFC comes to New York, he decides he want to fight. So it's in Brooklyn. And with all that being said, I think Al Iaquinta is a better fighter too, man. Just he's fought better competition and got wins over him. And so that's what I look at, man. I look at your resume. You know, your resume, it tells what level of fighter you are. You know, you beat some tough guys. So I take Al by TKO.
Ted?
I'm gonna have to agree with Dunn on that one and you as well because I just think that Alquinta is on the next tier of fighters, maybe the beginning high tier, whereas Felder might be just rounding like a second tier fighter at this point, and he may get to that level in a few years, but I don't think he's there quite yet.
Yeah. I feel like Felder in a few years would probably be a complete fighter if he continue fighting because I don't know. I feel like he is good at commentating, so I don't know if he's gonna, pull back a little bit from fighting if he lose another one or two and go straight to commentating. But I totally agree with you guys.
I'll say this. Hey, he better go to commentating 100% before the UFC cut him. Because if he lose too many fights, I don't know how that works. Is that do you lose your Fox job if the UFC cuts you if you lose 3 fights in a row? Like, how does that work? I've never seen. Most guys up there are champions, so or retired. So, like, what does it have? When you got a middle of the tier guy that's doing commentating? When you cut him, do Fox still keep him? Because anybody that's a champion, they'll never be cut. Not if they're a champion on the Fox desk, and everyone else is retired. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. Iaquinta, is he on a long winning streak or not? Because I don't know why he hasn't received a title shot or anything at that level for him to be in that title contention at the moment.
Nah, he don't fight enough. He took 2 years off in between the fight for no reason.
Yeah,
he's healthy.
Yeah.
Talking about those with that win-loss record, Rashad's got to be getting up there. If he's not officially retired by now, didn't he lose his last 2 or 3?
You said
who, Felder?
Rashad.
Oh, Rashad, yeah. Rashad. He's a Hall of Famer, though, so I don't think they would ever cut him. They would tell him this is your last fight.
Yeah,
Rashad, I don't even know when was his last loss or win because when he get in the octagon, he doesn't have anything for me to feel like he has any chance to even go up the rankings. So I think he's in there for a paycheck himself. So, but next we have my other boy, Anthony Pettis. He been on a bad run lately, but he gets my other boy, Michael Chiesa. I like Michael Chiesa. I mean, I actually was rooting for him over what's homeboy Kevin Lee. I was rooting. Kevin Lee. I like Kevin Lee too, but I really like Mike Chiesa. I was surprised that
Hey man, you are something else, man. You just gonna turn on your boy Pettis, man. Hey man, you go. Hey, Kevin, man, you left Pettis like, oh man,
man. Hey,
Pettis, man?
I feel bad. Because recently Pettis liked one of my posts on Instagram. So I kind of feel bad saying this, but he's been on a downslope for a minute now, and
since USADA.
Since USADA. You trying to claim that Pettis is a part of the USADA clan? Said that the guy that been
I don't know. All I know is that the timing is a little bit suspicious. He went from unbeatable to kind of like kind of like a entry level, fighter
Oh,
very
that's
quickly.
funny. That's funny. Uh, I have no idea. I don't. I think he was good in WC. I think in the UFC he had like a little something going, but I think the guys nowadays, like, I think if he started his era like a couple years back, he'd have been good. But I think nowadays the guys are at his level of being very unique as fighters. You know what I'm saying? I think he was very unique during the time when he was up there. Saying having 15 minutes of fame, but he came.
I,
Guys start coming along at his level of being more well rounded and stuff. So I think his style, you know, wasn't anything a threat to all these new guys coming up and fighting. So that's what I
yeah,
think it is.
I agree. I agree, man. Like his style, like I call Anthony Pettis the 30-year-old Hall of Fame running back.
I think it's a 30-year-old
You know,
version.
because when you fight in a lighter weight class specifically, but when you fight and your number one skill or ability is your athleticism, then eventually you're going to either have to grow or your athleticism is slowly going to decline. It's slowly going to decline, and you're going to have guys that are younger with the equal or better athleticism, so you won't be able to out-athlete them. And so it's a situation where 30-year-old running back. Same thing with Aldo. He's like 31 years old. He's a they're NFL players. I equate them to running backs. Athletes. A horse runs strong don't last long.
I never saw it that way, but you got a point. I mean, their bodies are getting beat up like NFL players. Like like when you turn 31 in NFL. That's getting there to being old because the beating your body takes. So that's kind of like the same in MMA. I ain't think of it that way. That's true in some kind of way, but I take Michael Chiesa because I'm just being honest. Like I don't see anything that Pettis can do to win this fight unless he goes to full decision. But I can see Chiesa working him on the ground. But Pettis is good on the ground, so I wouldn't say sub. Okay, I go sub. If I go Chiesa, I got to go sub because if I go decision, I only can see Anthony Pettis probably winning out a split decision. But I'll go Michael Chiesa sub.
Well, something about Chiesa rubs me the wrong way. He comes off as kind of a little bitch to me, especially after the Kevin Lee press conference when he's like, "Yeah, don't talk about my mom," and then he just literally called people over to try and stop him from walking over there.
Yeah.
Instead of just walking over there, he called people to come stop him, and and then basically saying, "Oh, I didn't tap to Kevin Lee," when he clearly tapped. Just all this kind of stuff. He's good, and Pettis, like you said, is on the decline. I'm interested to see. I think it's going to come down to the later rounds, and in the end, I think I'm going to pick Pettis by decision.
Man, I hope you're right, Ted. I hope you're right. I got Chiesa by decision, though. I think Chiesa's grappling is going to be just enough. He's going to be bigger. He's going to smother Anthony. And so I think it's going to be a boring fight, actually. It's going to be one of those fights you got to make boring to not get knocked out if you Chiesa. So I'm going to go Chiesa decision.
Yeah, I got Chiesa too, but I think he's going to, if he wins, I think it could be by sub, which is not an easy task on Anthony Pettis. He's actually a decent ground game. So next we have, I don't know if you guys even care about this fight. We have Ronaldo against, I won't mess this guy last name all up, Moicano versus Calvin Kattar. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but I see him fight a couple of times. I'm taking...
Yeah, Kattar's solid, man.
Kattar.
Yeah, Kattar.
Yeah, he's solid. He's solid. And the other guy, he fought... I think last person he was on a winning streak for a while, but he had a lot of split decisions. And the last person he fought was Ortega, which is not an easy task. We saw lately that Ortega actually is pretty much legit.
But he was losing that fight. Ortega was losing that fight, and he tapped him at 2 minutes left in the third round. Might have been less than that, Like it was
Wow.
like a Hail Mary. Like I don't think Ortega realized he was losing the fight, but me, I was watching the fight and I was judging the fight for myself, and I think the fight was in Vegas, and so I think he was gonna lose that fight by decision. And so I look at that guy as an undefeated fighter, man. I look at Canelo as an undefeated fighter.
I think it's a different Ortega, though, too. I don't think he really had the boxing that he has now. I think he was mostly jiu-jitsu. And, I think the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu camp has kind of been exposed over the years since the Matthews fight with Hoist Gracie. But that's just my personal opinion. But no, I think Hader is going to win, and I think he's going to be. It's going to be a boring fight.
No, Cater or Catter, how you pronounce his name? My bad. That's your name of homeboy. But he actually he's a decent wrestler too, isn't he? Don? I think I've seen him do a lot of takedowns and stuff like that.
Man, I've only seen him fight once.
I've seen him fight twice.
once, and then I can't say what he is. I would say more of a striker actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take Cater by TKO though. That's what I'll take for TKO. And yeah, you didn't take nobody. You just pretty much said it's gonna be a boring fight, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I don't really care about either of these people. I don't think either of them are going to go anywhere title contention-wise, to be completely honest. So usually when that's the case, it doesn't really.
What they call a filler. We call these fillers.
It is.
They're a filler, So if you need a bathroom, God damn it, I probably shouldn't say this, man. But like they're the filler, man. Like if you need a bathroom break, you can go to the bathroom and come back, not miss the main event.
I would rather have saw Brandon Moreno versus Ray Borg than this fight, actually. To tell you the truth,
yeah, for sure.
Because I like Brandon Moreno. I like Brandon Moreno a lot. But anyway, on to the co-main event. The one, the only, my girl, Thug Rose versus Joanna Jacek. I say Jacek. I don't even try to, really go in deep with her last name. Thug Rose Namajunas.
Champion.
Huh? Say it again,
Jake. By Joanna Champion.
You think? Okay, so you already get your prediction. You think? You think? Hold on. What did he say?
I hope she's not that person. Though. You'll call herself champ.
Okay. Oh yeah. Like, see, okay. You already. I'm not being biased. I like Thug Rose. I always like Thug Rose. Actually, I was kind of going on a kind of pushing away from her for a minute because I felt she was getting into all this Zen spiritual stuff and wasn't focused. But I feel like she was getting focused, but now then after a while I was like, is she getting focused, or is she on this Ricky Waters thing where she's zenning out and getting all spiritual and stuff like that? But I mean, she really got focused, and like JJ really thought she was in her head, but really Rose is just like, I'm focused. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not letting you get it to me. I'm in my zone. Like I believe I can. I have what it takes to beat you. Take you out the game, and she did that. So I think she's going to do it again. But actually, I think she's going to do it sub. I think she's going to sub JJ. I think JJ really is prepared to stand up and counter her. But I think Rose see the opportunity to take her down. She will. And I think she will submit her. So I got Thug Rose by submission. I don't know what you guys got.
I think something like I definitely need. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Don.
I think Rose. It's hard to say because that first fight was such a small sample size, where I didn't really get to see like who was dominating the other or who tactics were better inside of there. It was kind of hard to really judge a fight that didn't last as long as I would have liked. But man, I think Rose is gonna do it again though, just off of the confidence of that fight, and to where she's going in, with on a confidence high. It's the best, and with somebody that's struggling with their confidence like she has, I have, and a lot of people have as far as in athletics. I think that's gonna help her, being that you're most confident going into a fight, and I think you're gonna see the best Rose ever. So I got Rose. I don't see how this fight gets finished the same way, so it's either gonna be submission or decision. I'll go decision though.
I think something that we need to definitely keep in account is so Joanna, before the last fight, weighed in at 130 4 days before the fight, and she really attributes that to like how much weight, how much strength she had in the fight, and how much pain she was in, you know, from just the weight cut, the crazy weight cut, 15 pounds in 4 days. When, you know, at that kind of frame, like if he was like a big guy, like it'd be one thing, but someone who's only 15 pounds to begin with, you know, that can take a lot out of you. So that being said, I do think that Thug Rose definitely has like the kill or be killed mentality, and I think that goes a long way. And I do think that unless Joanna is able to knock her out in the first or second round, I do think Rose will win by submission, rear naked choke.
Yeah, I think submission is going to be her win this time. Like I think last fight she probably was prepared to take her down, but she said, you know what, I'm not going to. I mean, smart game is to if you can strike decently, you know, even when even though JJ is a elite striker, you don't make it obvious that your game plan is to grab the person, take him down. You'll say, especially her, and her takedown defense is pretty decent. But we seen her get taken down before, especially against Claudia a couple of times. But I think when it comes to the ground game, Rose is way better than Claudia in transitioning and stuff like that. So I think she get JJ down, it's a wrap. I think it's totally a wrap. She's like a monkey on somebody when she get them on the ground, pretty much. But yeah, so we all got our Thug Rose, and hopefully. Yeah,
I mean, also too, when you see these champions, man, 5 rounds, 5 more rounds, 5 more rounds. When you're a champion fighting 5-round fights and going off 5 rounds, you putting extra mileage on your body. So those are fights you go lose. You know, for going 5 rounds. Not lose to fight, like lose back in 9 of your career, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. Next we got, the fight that has changed, but it's still a fight that people would like to see. And that's Khabib Nurmagomedov. I always gotta look at his name when I pronounce his name. I can't like say it off the head. But against Max Holloway for the main event for the interim. It's the interim, right? Lightweight championship.
No, apparently it's for the full lightweight championship now. Whoever wins this is the lightweight champion.
So is that hint that, because before it was supposed to be whoever win faces McGregor in, you know, unify the titles, you know, like UFC did in the past with other divisions. But is that a hint that this Mayweather training thing is going to make something happen other than for McGregor to? You don't think so?
I can't. I don't think so, bro.
I don't think that's what it is. But Dana has said.
Yeah. I can't talk about Floyd Mayweather doing MMA because he's not. Sorry, I can't, man. He's not doing it.
You don't think so?
He did his license, though. That's been confirmed. There is a license. He did get the license.
This is my thing.
Yeah, but I think they just trying to hype the fight up too, man. And I don't understand why they strip Conor though. You kept him on it this long. You go strip him a week before the fight, or you go strip him on the night of the fight. You might as well keep it on him now. You know, keep it on him now, and whoever wins this fight is the interim champ. You know, and you say, well, Tony was the interim champ. Interim champ means you're not really a champ. It means you're the #1 contender. So if you're an interim champ and if you can't fight, the belt should be stripped from you because you're not the real champion. You're an interim champ. So, you know, that's how I think the winner of this fight should fight Conor.
Yeah. I
think we should just do away with all the fucking interim belts, man. It's just so confusing and so, like, useless.
It's making people think they really champions.
Right.
They're not really champions. They #1 contenders.
Right.
But they doing this to try to make money off of these fights, to try to think that sell the masses that this is a championship fight.
Yeah,
If these
people-
dudes ain't champions. They
Yeah,
number one contenders, but
yeah,
it's going
people
to their
fall-
head like they champions.
Yeah, people fall for it too. People like fall. I mean, like the casual fans.
But they falling for their own gimmick. The gimmick is to
Yeah.
sell the fight and make money by putting the interim belt on the line. But then after you win it, you think you're really the champion.
So yeah, I want to get into
'cause
that.
What happens is with this fight, either way, now both Connor and Tony are no longer going to be any kind of champ. When no one was
That's
the
crazy.
champ going into this fight, which makes zero sense. No one was the champion going into this fight,
Right,
and now
right.
it changes hands.
Yeah. Like the whole thing with Tony being interim champ and then like another belt being made. It's like we got fucking 3 champs now. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I heard that. When I heard the announcement when Holloway took his replacement as a replacement, and I was like, is a belt still involved? I'm like, I'm confused. Like, so is Tony stripped? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
At this point, man, I think me and Ted can link up, man. I think we can run this company a little better right now as far as matchmaking. Man. It's out of hand.
Some crazy
it's truly
shit
out of
is
hand.
about to happen. Some crazy shit's about to happen with the UFC, especially if I don't know if you guys saw this whole stuff about the Muhammad Ali Act.
No,
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah,
no, go ahead.
you're
So
an
don't know
independent
what that
contractor,
is.
so you shouldn't be signed to one individual company like NFL basketball or MLB. You know,
Yeah, well, basically, it's like for implications for UFC would be that if the Muhammad Ali Act goes by like it does in boxing, a third-party company would be the one making the matchups and determining, the number one contendership and stuff. So UFC wouldn't be able to get away with this bullshit where they can just make someone the number one contender out of nowhere when they're like ranked number 9 to number 1 just to hype fights. Or give someone a title shot just because they are popular and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So it actually
I
would
like
be
that.
better for the sport, but probably
I like
worse
that.
for fans.
Yeah, I kind of like that, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like it's like, it does make dream fights because like instead of a person keep going through so many people just to get to that one person, which is dangerous because like, it's something that Chael Sonnen is
also if that act goes through too, like the Muhammad Ali Act, like unless you have a contract signed with a specific network to broadcast your fights, then like you're pretty much an independent contractor. Like in boxing, every fight you're an independent contractor. You sign a new contract every fight. So
Yeah.
to where you're not stuck with the UFC. You could go to Bellator, and you could come fight another fight in the UFC. You know what I mean? Because they got these guys under contract like it's the NFL or NBA. But no, it should be treated like an independent contractor, like boxing, like it's a combat sport.
something that Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, I mean,
Something that Chael Sonnen said. I heard him say. I was looking at I think it was an interview he had or a podcast thing he was doing with Chris Jericho, and he said something that I said, you know what, that makes sense, but it didn't happen. Dana White actually survived, and he didn't have no really complications with matchups. But now he's to the point it probably be a big issue if this thing get passed. Is he said? I guess I guess he said, or Jericho said, or whatever, Chael, one of them said that Vince McMahon said to about Dana White or UFC that it will never work because it's unpredictable who will win. So, because I guess Vince McMahon wanted to buy out UFC and do like kind of like a work thing, like kind of like Pride kind of did. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, it will never work because
So basically, he's telling us his XFL games are going to be fixed, right?
Probably.
So that's basically
Probably.
Why watch it? Why
Yeah.
watch it? It's a waste of my time, then, right?
You're right.
Go
I mean, he probably gave himself away,
go
but
see
yeah,
his games, huh?
but yeah, he said it'll never work because it's not fixed to a point where it be actual good matchups because like people can lose any time, some type of thing. He said, but anyway, I mean, I thought about that when you guys said this because like if a person had to go through so many people to get to that one person, which we know how UFC that's dangerous because you know what I'm saying he had that one fight where he can lose and it cancel out the fight between Khabib Khabib and Tony Ferguson. Ferguson fought.
Yeah.
So everybody,
You see, with Vince McMahon, I'm about to shoot on Vince McMahon right now.
What'd you
Vince
say?
McMahon, every time he talk, he put his foot in his mouth. Every single time he talk, he put his foot in his mouth. No, every time his mouth opened up, I see a toe pop out. You know, because you say those comments years ago, and now you have $2 billion to throw in the garbage, basically, to start a football league. That's gonna have fixed games, basically. You know,
probably
you can't control the outcome of football.
Like he pretty much told
sports, right?
He pretty much told himself.
So you're gonna have fixed. You're gonna so he basically just threw away $2 billion to start up the XFL again.
But I won't watch it though.
That exact statement will come up. It will come up. In the future.
True. I will watch it though. I'm gonna watch the first season to see how it goes. But anyway, we got way off topic. I'm taking Khabib in this fight.
Colin Kaepernick's team is going to win the XFL championship. I predict that.
Hey, did he sign with them? I know a couple fools.
I don't know, man.
Well, I heard T.O.
If this Vince,
Ocho Cinco was planning to sign with them, and I can definitely see them two signing.
Or get KO'd in the middle of the game, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Ted, you still there? Ted's quiet.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I didn't even know that the XFL was coming back.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And think about it. Only reason I like it only reason that I like that Vince McMahon is investing his time into this. Well, you don't care, Tech. You don't care about wrestling, nor do you, Don. But Triple H is going to take over WWE. He's in the works to take over, and he's been doing a great job in NXT. So I feel like once he take over, wrestling is going to be way different than it is under Vince McMahon's hand, because I think he's going to see now, by the way. But anyway, it's coming back. So yeah, you should look it up. Yeah, it's going to be like he feel it's going to, pretty much, because I think he thinks because the NFL is losing ratings, and he feel like NFL is losing what they had before, as in Smash Mouth. Excitement, blah, 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 that now he can do XFL again and come in and take over that market of entertainment. But anywho, I take Khabib because I think Max Holloway is a good fighter. I ain't taking nothing from him. But I just don't, even though I think Max Holloway got decent takedown defense, stuff like that, it's Khabib, man. Khabib to grab you and he clinch you in some kind of way. He got so many. He like Dean Malenko. He's a man of 1,000 moves. He got many ways to take you down than a normal takedown, exchange. Most guys, take you down like the regular way, double leg, single leg. But he's gonna take you down those ways. But he has ways to, just like Damian Maia, he has ways to take you down other than the original way or the regular way they're doing it. His shit is abnormal. It's not normal the way he take people down. So I think he's gonna take him down. I ain't gonna say he can submit him, but I think he's gonna beat him down for like 3 rounds. Then by the 4th round, I see TKO just getting beat down so goddamn much. So I take Khabib by TKO ground and pound.
Man, you ain't giving Max a shot at all? I give him a puncher's shot. I give Max a puncher's chance, and I give him 2 minutes and 30 seconds to get that puncher's chance off, because by the midway point of that round, it could potentially turn for the worse for Max Holloway. So I give him 2 minutes and 30 seconds to try to get it done. But I'm gonna take Khabib also, man. I'm gonna take Khabib, and this fight is gonna get finished one way or other. Max is not ready to go 5 rounds. Max is ready to step in there and get the knockout in the first round if he can. And Khabib, I see Khabib getting a TKO actually. And it's interesting what you said about his wrestling techniques. He's so dominant. It's not because he's like so much better wrestling than everyone. He's really strong, but also his techniques are different, and they're not seen every day in America.
Exactly.
So his techniques he's from Russia. So, you don't see those Russian techniques in America because he's from Russia. Like if you took an average American wrestler and sent them to Russia to wrestle, they'd probably do well because our techniques are different. So those guys would have to adjust. So that's what makes him so dominant as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, what I think is crazy is just listening to the outpouring of just like no one who is credible in the fight world has said anything bad ever about Khabib. Everybody only says like how amazing he is, and people even from like Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson after the fight said he felt like it was a heavyweight on top of him. He couldn't do anything, and he's fought a lot of heavyweights like in the gym, and it felt like a heavyweight was on top of him. I know Daniel Cormier is on his team, so he has, every reason to hype up Khabib, but he says that, sometimes Khabib will win in wrestling matches even with him in the gym. Few and far between, but being that small, he'll still win. Yeah, which is crazy. And then like John Fitch, who's also a training partner, says, who's fought like GSP, says there is no doubt in my mind that Khabib right now could beat George St. Pierre in his prime in wrestling, no problem. So those kind of comments scare me, but I will say that the only chink that we've seen in his armor is that one punch from Michael Johnson, and I think that Max has way better hands than Michael Johnson. So if he's able to do something in round 1 or 2, I think you could pull the upset win. But like you said, like there could be too much damage done by the end of round 1 or mid-round 2 to come back and do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the one thing too with Max, the one thing that's not at Max's advantage is he's not a one-punch guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way you beat Khabib is to be a one-punch guy. He's not a one-punch guy. He's a break you, volume, TKO guy. If you think about his fight, versus Pettis or his fights against Aldo, he didn't one-punch those guys. He didn't just crack them and had them on, skates. He pretty much, he outworked them and he TKO'd them off of volume. And I don't think he's going to get volume off if you only train for 6 days for a fight. So his only shot is one punch, but he's not a one-punch guy.
You know what?
Issues,
I agree.
He got real issues.
I agree, but one thing I want to say is, speaking on that, if he can make the upset, how worse would that be if he wins? Because it's in history that McGregor beat Holloway, but Khabib is like undefeated. I mean, if Khabib loses this fight, that's a blow to UFC. Like they need Khabib to win this fight. Period. You know what I'm saying? As in selling tickets and making big fights. Like I don't think nobody want to see Holloway. They can hype it up. Okay, the rematch. Holloway is a better fighter. He's at his prime. Whatever to make it look like it's a different fighter going in there against Conor. But I think as Khabib story, that's the fight Conor won too. Conor need that fight. Conor need a fight that's not. Even against Tony, it'd have been like. Him and Tony could have been talking shit because Tony a shit talker. That's the fight it would have been with him and Tony. But Khabib is this Russian guy, undefeated, will be 26-0 if he beats Holloway, and like that's the story that UFC need, not Holloway. Conor too. Holloway, the new.
Hey, I'm about to play matchmaker, and if they smart, they'll listen to me. If Khabib loses by knockout, that's the only way he loses. If he loses by knockout, then they redo Khabib versus Tony. I guarantee you they do that. Tony, no matter what, he's not fighting Conor. He's not fighting Max Holloway next. He's just not. If you're Tony. So I think they remake that fight. And it'll be a little lukewarm. But people will be happy to still see that fight, and both fighters wouldn't have a choice. And then if Max wins, that means that you do the rematch. You do the rematch. You show their old fight. You hype it up. Max would be 2-division champ. Conor 2-division champ. 2 belts. Both guys walking into ESPN with 2 belts and all of that, and hype it up for the masses, and it'll be a big fight.
Yeah.
Have it in Hawaii.
That'd be dope right there.
Or Ireland.
I don't think they could get Conor to go to Hawaii though, man. He's stranded on the island.
They've been trying to do Hawaii for a long time.
He can't drink the water. He can't eat the food.
They've been trying to do Hawaii for a long time, though. Like I know they've been trying to talk about doing Hawaii, but for some reason it hasn't happened. It's a reason why. I don't know.
I can't believe they haven't went there.
It's a
not
reason why.
political. That's why.
All their stadiums too have no roof.
Oh,
they say that, but and Hawaii has a raining season, but when it's not raining season, it's fine. So just don't make it during raining season. And I mean, most days are great, but I think it's a political reason, and that's what they're saying to cover up whatever political reason that they can't have that venue, and do fights. So
maybe. I will say that Dana said that Conor is coming back for sure in September. That's
wow. Okay.
When they're negotiating. They haven't said what fight it's going to be yet, but they already have someone who they think Conor is going to fight in September. Everybody's speculating that it's probably Tony, since Tony's injured now.
I know you guys not biting on the bait, but I'm telling you, I feel if Mayweather feel like he really can stop the takedown, I don't know why. But they're saying that he's in financial issues. That's why he's probably take this fight knowing damn well he probably can't win it just to get some money. Like his defense probably if he does try to go for this fight, which I know Dunn is not believing, is it's not boxing. He's the king of boxing. MMA is a different story. You know what I'm saying? He can just take the ass whooping loss and get the check and go on the sunset and say, you know what, I'm still fucking the best of boxing. So I mean, I think if he's training, I don't see why Woodley would sit there and like make this up that he's training for MMA. I don't think he's trying to sign a contract for ever. He's signing for one fight. I mean, he's old as hell. He knows he's old for boxing. Why the hell he want to try a new sport and try to go full throttle? I think he's going for a one shot money maker situation. So.
Well, they're talking too about it not even being Conor McGregor. Like all the rumors are saying that it's actually going to be CM Punk that Mayweather would go against.
He's way too big.
Okay, I'll take Mayweather. I'll take Mayweather for.
That'd be hilarious though. That'd be hilarious. Hey, Floyd, I'm trying to KO him actually. So that'd be hilarious to me. To see a little guy KO the huge guy, but at the same time, how can you get that sanction? When it's like a 25 pound.
Yeah, like that's what I mean? Yeah, I think about it. That's old UFC fucking fight rules. Just two man enter, one man.
Yeah, you can't have that, man. You can't have somebody 170 pounds fighting a dude that's like 152, fully dressed.
Yeah, CM Punk need to quit. Like I knew CM Punk. I used to work on the road with him, and he's a cool guy. But like even in wrestling, even in choreographed fighting. His coordination was always off. Like he could call some good matches, had good psychology, but when it comes to like performing, like he always is like, like kind of like two left feet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when we started trying to fight, I just knew it was all bad. But anyway, I'm gonna get off of that. Ted, you said earlier you had something about something that went down with Brendan Shaw and Eve Edwards.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was, I guess, at the beginning of the month, on like the 8th or so, on one of his podcasts, Brendan Schaub has many podcasts, Fighter and the Kid, Below the Belt for Showtime. I guess something was said where he was criticizing the Fox analyst team for UFC Tonight, and I guess he said like an off-color comment where he was meaning to make fun of the fact that Fox is like racist. So they overcompensated and hired an all-black announcing crew. But what he said it in a way that it made him seem like he was racist. Specifically, he said, I know, Fox, that you're checking off all the diversity boxes, but are these all the best people to be, broadcasting on fighting, talking about fighting? And I guess that really made Eve Edwards mad, and he was vocal about it. And I guess they had spoke about it, and I guess that they both thought the beef was squashed. But then Brendan went on another show, and I guess said something else that made Eve Edwards mad again. So then it opened it back up, and it's like a whole can of worms.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I got a clip here of
I'm
Joe
trying to.
Rogan.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. What was it though? What political statement or what happened like in that week to make them make that political statement? You know, they had never done that before. You know, not one show had I remember them
So
doing that.
my bad. 'Cause I was sitting over here, fiddling with stuff. So what you're saying is that okay, Brandon Shaw made a comment about black commentators, so like on Fox or FS1 or something like that. It was like, is that what happened?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, what he was trying to say is that everyone accuses Fox of being racist, both for mostly for their news people, the Bill O'Reillys and all those kind of people.
Okay.
So the punchline he was trying to be funny and basically say that Fox overcompensated and made everyone black, just so they could say we're not racist. But in turn, the way he said it made him seem like he was racist.
So he's saying to make themselves look good, they put more black, announcers or commentators, whatever, on like Fox Sports, like your UFC, Fox Sports, whatever. I know,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
I see
and you know what?
now
That's
too.
I'm not gonna lie.
He was passively saying that Fox and their network are racist because I think he's worked for them before. But he did it in a passive way to where it's saying they're racist, but the reason why the network is racist is they tried to overcompensate to prove the world, see, we're not a racist network.
You know what?
Putting it all black cast.
You know what?
And because I like Eve a lot, but is Eve better than Kenny Florian? Is Eve better than Michael Bisping, which is usually one of those two guys up there? And usually one of those two guys are there, and you have Eve there too. But it's never like with Eve and Rashad or Eve and Tyron. You know what I mean? They usually kind of mix it up. So that's what I think Shab was saying too. They did something uncharacteristic to make a point that was, not genuine.
You know what? I kind of agree. Listen here. I'm going to play the clip of Joe Rogan in a minute because like he actually disagrees with Brendan Shaw in some kind of way, but I haven't heard it yet. But I kind of agree. Like it is. I mean, now I think about it. Sometimes it is like what, like Edwards and Rashad at the same time on there. Like sometimes they do have two black guys at the same time on there sometimes. So they probably, because jobs, people are aware of history. Jobs do that sometimes. They hire more nationalities just make it even with culture, so it won't be seem like they're one sided. So I mean, him being connected to so many fighters in the game. And knowing other commentators, he probably heard something, or he probably know backstories about this to say that. But at the same time, okay, how did Edwards get involved? Like, did he say something before Schaub, and then Schaub commented, or he just commented on what Brendan Schaub said?
He commented on what Schaub said, and
Okay.
then there's a whole thing back and forth where they would just happen to see each other at different Hollywood venues, and there'd be some words, and then like Schaub will basically the whole thing is Schaub does 12 hours of content per week, so sometimes he forgets what he said, sometimes he puts his foot in his mouth and says something completely different than what he said before, and I guess when explaining that him and Eve squashed the beef, apparently it didn't happen the way he said, and he just took a lot of offense, and you'll see in the clip, he'll explain exactly, kind of what the whole deal is with that.
Yeah, yes, I don't, like me and Dunn to take it too hard. So I don't know why Eve Edwards is offended by it. I mean,
Nah, I understand 100% why he was offended. He was offended because Brendan was talking about him. He was.
I got you.
Passively saying that Fox.
Only reason he got a job. Only reason he got a job
no,
because
no, not that. Not even that. It was that specific show. They was like, okay, Eve is not there as often or as consistent as some of those other fighters that are up there.
Yeah.
You see Eve once in every blue moon, and so for whatever reason, they I guess they put out the Eve signal, and and they had an all black cast, and they included Eve, and that's what Brendan was saying. I see what he was saying. They kind of overcompensating to try to hide something or a point of view in which they have. And so they're trying to say it's a racist network, and that's why they did that. And Eve took offense to Brendan because, I I guess he felt like he was talking to him when he said like you're not good enough to be up there. Or Michael Bisping. He didn't say that, but that's the way Eve took it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying. Like he's saying if he wasn't black and being and was on there because of political reasons, then he wouldn't be on there at all. Okay, I get you saying. Put it like this, I'm not saying that's true, but E. Edwards, he's all right on there. You know what I'm saying? He all right on there. I mean, like, he's a all right commentator. But anyway, I'm not gonna get that deep into it because I don't make it like I'm trying to like side. But let's hear what Joe Rogan got to say. I'm not gonna play too much of this because I don't know how long it is. It's a couple minutes though. But I'm gonna play Joe Rogan's clip because Joe Rogan is like that's Shaw's boy. For him to be, anti, Shaw on this situation. I know you don't want to back up anything that's politically incorrect. And get heat for it too, but I don't know. Let's just do it. I don't even know.
We a couple weeks ago, I saw you at the Comedy Store, and you asked me about your boy Brendan.
Yeah,
and like you had asked me about you.
Let's explain.
By the way, guys, if you want me to pause it to intervene about anything about this instead of just us listen through the whole thing. Then do so. Just like, okay, pause it. You want to comment on something that just said, whatever. If y'all want to, just let me know. All right.
The whole thing to people that don't know the story. Brendan said something where he was talking about UFC Tonight, right? It's UFC Tonight?
Yeah. Well, he was talking about
the Fox panel.
The
Fox panel. And he said something about, I get it, Fox, you're not racist. Like saying that you have a bunch of black people on it.
Yeah,
because they're
full
not
black
racist.
cast.
Yeah,
and because they're not racist. Myself, Tyron, and Karen Bryant were the three.
Oh, so Brandon's statement was like sarcastic, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay, got it. All right.
On the desk that day,
but also a lot of times Rashad, a lot of times
DC.
Yeah,
and so it was like. But are you checking off boxes? Because are these the best brains and the best speakers for the job?
Right.
And it was like, and some people see the point that he was trying to make, the point that he claims that he was trying to make. But the thing is, when you start in on this race thing, you're saying effectively that there's a person or a group of these people are only there because of the color of their skin, right? You could say all of that without the whole I get it, you're not racist, are you checking off boxes or whatever, right? Because if that doesn't matter to the question or the point that you're trying to make, then why bring it up?
Right.
That's.
I feel like I know Brendan very well. I love him. He's one of my best friends. He's definitely not a racist, but he definitely talks too much.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, like he talks too much. I mean like he says his.
Hey, you know what? He speaks his mind. That's one thing I know about Brendan Straw. He speaks his mind, though.
But, I kind of see I like Eve a lot. I think Eve is a great analyst, actually. And I like the way his mind works as a fighter and as it works as a trainer, too, and a coach. He's very analytical and very tactical in his approach to MMA, and I like that. But at the same time, they're trying to sell a TV show to the masses, not just people who know who Eve Edwards is, because most people don't know who Eve Edwards is.
But now,
so they want to. So like Tyron's champion, he's fighting right now. He's fought on Connor's card, so people know who Tyron Woodley is. People know who Rashad Evans is. He will forever be the dude who knocked out Chuck Liddell, forever.
But now,
so people that haven't even watched MMA the last 6-7 years, they know who Rashad is. Oh, he knocked out Chuck Liddell. 7 years ago, 10 years ago, actually,
But now what I notice a lot lately is that they have been doing mixed match. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sad to say this, but I mean, cause now I think about it. Cause like I said, I don't think about color. I just watch the fucking show. But now I think about it, it's like, Brisbane and a black guy or Kenny and a black guy. I mean, they be doing that too. So, I mean, but they do sometimes. I don't know, dude. It's a. You're like, I agree with Joe. Brendan Shaw it's certain things you don't say. For him to say what he said was just like stirring some shit up.
And it gets worse too because if you listen to the rest of that clip, I guess the beef was squashed, and then Brennan said some more shit, or it was perceived that he said some more shit. But yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, I ain't gonna play no more. But
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
it's unfortunate, man, that the statement even was made. Because it comes off like it's either way. It comes off either an attack on Eve, saying he shouldn't be up there, not because he's black, he just shouldn't be up there.
Yeah, yeah.
Or it comes off as a racist attack, to where he's attacking the whole black cast and everybody. And so that's unfortunate though, man, because Brendan Schaub's not a racist dude.
Yeah.
Like
you
and I grew up in
background.
a place where there's a lot of racist people around me. So like, and he's the farthest thing from it actually. One of the farthest people I've ever seen away from racism.
The thing what I'm taking from it is that he was attacking Fox. You know what I'm saying? But he ended up, open up the fucking can of worms.
Caught in the racism fire.
Yeah, open up the can of worms.
It's not the time to play racist jokes. It's just not.
Yeah.
And, unless you on a stage performing for somebody, it's not funny in today's society. Just because of everything that's going on, which is unfortunate. So.
Well,
and he just got caught in that moment.
The thing about too is the fighter and the kid had a very messy breakup with Fox. Fox used to own Fighter with the Kid, and there was a lot of.
So he's got a lot of disagreements in that sense too.
And they went their own way at the beginning of this year. So.
Yeah, so like what he was doing is trying to throw him under the bus, but he kind of, just. He picked the wrong, dialogue or wrong, wrong political.
It was indirect though. It was passive, which made it funny because it was passive. But when you passive, you allow people to come up with their own conclusion of what your thoughts are. When you're passive about a statement, it was a passive statement. It was a passive statement, and so everyone could come up with their. Well, he's a shot at Eve. Oh, well, he's racist. He said that about black people. He's racist. Or, oh, no, he's saying Fox the Network is racist. So they're trying to pretend like they're not. So there's so many directions you could go because he made a passive statement,
Yeah, like...
The other thing is, too, is that the only person who even responded to this on that whole cast of people is Eve Edwards. No one else seemed to care.
Yeah, no one else cared or said anything,
Yeah.
Yeah, like, to me, it's like either Eve...
So that makes me think that it was directed towards Eve, and Eve knows it, and,
No, but my thing is like either one thing. Eve's trying to get publicity off of this. 'Cause like me, what I would have did, especially like he's in the background, like he is a part of that sport, so he probably know more people that know him too. So probably know he's probably not like that. I would have said, listen here, I would approach it if I was really upset about it. Like, are you trying to say I'm not talented enough to be on this show? And commentate. That's what I would have said. I would say. I made it clear. Like I'm not trying to say you racist.
He chose to take the race angle.
He
chose to take that angle. He could have took the angle like, oh, he's trying to say I'm not good enough.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna show you, blah blah blah. I'm gonna show you why I'm here, or whatever.
Like
he took the racist.
I would have made it clear from the beginning that I'm not saying he's racist. Just throw it out. Just throw that away. But you trying to say I'm not talented? Like you taking shots at Fox. But at the same time, you trying to say I'm not talented enough to be hired by Fox, for my own, commentating skills. That's why I would have took it. But like I said, like I'm not saying that he's not really taking it that way in a racist way. But I feel like maybe he trying to use this for an opportunity to make himself in the limelight. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't what Edwards doing other than going to Fox every once in a while and doing sports commentating. Probably coaching a little bit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So this is an opportunity I feel like for him to try to shine off of Brendan Shaw's, back. Brendan Shaw doing real well in the podcast world. You know what I'm saying? In the commentating world. So what better way to doing it?
Shaw is that. I mean, he is acting now. I believe I think he's pursuing acting.
So
Shaw, like just this month, he now has a show on Showtime. Showtime bought his Big Brown Breakdown and turned it into Below the Belt podcast.
Wow.
He has a show on E that's starting. He did talking about people's outfits at the Grammys. He's been doing a lot of crap lately.
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So like
money move.
So like has this been going on?
He ain't got to fight no more. He's making money moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has this been going on for the last day or so, or longer than that? Just a whole little rift about the fucking racial Fox shit.
It's been since the 8th of March.
Okay. Oh, so it's been a minute. So since then, Brandon Shaw haven't really had any backlash, like being blackballed or anything like that, right?
No, well, people get to write into his show. They take fan questions, and he answered a fan question just yesterday.
Okay.
Someone basically sent in a question asking if he could, elaborate on what happened with Eve Edwards, and he fully apologized, fully took all responsibility.
Yeah,
you could probably even just look up Brendan Schaub apology, and there's probably that there, but he basically took all responsibility, saying like he didn't even know what kind of point he was trying to make. Sometimes you just, you're put on the spot in a live show or a live recording. You don't even remember what you say until you hear it back, and by that point, he was listening to it back when it was already live on iTunes and YouTube and stuff. So,
yeah, we probably follow up on this story. I'm pretty sure we will, because it probably still, if it's just now starting to be a thing where Edwards is making it an issue today from like weeks ago, then we probably kind of continue for a minute. So probably follow up on it. I know we're gonna come back in. I want to do a review show on a UFC 223. So if these guys will come back and do one, that's cool. If not, don't worry about it. I'll do it alone. I understand we both got schedules. Everybody gonna be out watching the fight, and it's too much, going on in one night. Plus, I got a lot going on.
There's something else. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm also very excited for this. This is the first set of matches that is going to be commentated by Joe Rogan and Jimmy Smith.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
really?
That's
I call him Baby Joe Rogan, because everything he does is like Joe Rogan-ish. You know what I'm saying? But that's cool though.
Yeah, and then John Anik.
Okay, yeah, I like John Anik.
So the three of them.
Comment. John Anik, he's a no. Is it either him or Felder is a jinx? Like they'll call something like, "Oh, this guy is doing great," or "This guy is dominating," something like that. And all of a sudden they get knocked out or something. It's either him or Felder always do that a lot. I'll be like, they are fucking jinx when they commentate.
Well, dude, when I heard Jimmy Smith was on Below the Belt, Brendan Shaw's podcast yesterday, and he was saying that like people, they get all this messages like, "Oh, I only want Joe Rogan and Jimmy Smith to be the announcers," and stuff like that, but people don't take into account like the kind of people like John Anik. John Anik literally has to have like so much facts, because it's not like wrestling where like facts are being told to you in an earpiece. Like most of this information is stuff that him and his team have come up with for facts about the fight. Like this percentage of takedown, all this kind of stuff. Like they will say some stuff, but it's completely different than a color commentator like Joe Rogan or Jimmy Smith, who are basically there to make it entertaining, where they're just trying to give you the facts and the breakdowns and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I'd be interested.
Yeah, it's a totally different job. Like from a broadcasting standpoint, it's literally a totally different job to where he can't do what they do if he wanted to, but then he wouldn't be doing his job on air. It would be just a total shit show. We got three guys, just just cutting the shit, and So his job is like the born out of all three positions. You don't want to be that guy usually, unless that's the thing, because he doesn't really get to express himself the way a guy like Joe or DC would, when you're on the commentating, because he's literally doing a job,
Yeah, no,
yeah, man. I mean, when you see, I think you enjoy the fights. If you look back at all the biggest fights ever, there's something added when Joe Rogan, I think, is like the person doing the fight, because you can tell that he's having fun. And that he sounds like a fan would, and he reacts like a fan would. Same with like DC, like when Thug Rose knocks out Joanna, and then all you hear is Thug Rose, Thug Rose.
Yeah. Like when Joe's gone, like Joe Rogan's gone, like I was like, I got used to the other guys that commentate when in his spot in replacement when he's gone, especially the lower cards. Like lower events. but it's like when he's not there, it's like I do miss his detailed, information about submissions and stuff like that. I mean, Felder, he's good at that, sometimes. But same time, it's like you get them guys that just like stick to their one style that they come in. I don't know. I just miss when Joe in there sometime. But I'm very intrigued by this combination of panel that's going to be fucking commentating. That's kind of cool. I like that. Prince,
yeah, I think they knew each other prior too.
They're friends.
When
they're
Jimmy
friends.
was at because that's what helps chemistry. 'Cause, that's the one thing too. When you can't just mix and match. So like when Joe retires and says I'm done, I'm tired of doing this. At some point, which I think is going to be soon, when he does that, then you'll have
that's why I think
probably
he's there.
Jimmy Smith and Daniel Cormier as the top two guys that'll be doing the
I definitely
big cards.
I definitely can see.
But do they have chemistry together? Do they like each other? Do they kick it together? Do they know each other?
Who
that
does
matters.
So what happened,
Chemistry
man?
matters.
What happened, man, was they didn't know each other for the longest time, and I guess what happened was Jimmy had just been signed by the UFC, but nobody knew that he was signed to the UFC yet, and I guess he was going to see a show in Pasadena that his friend was a part of, and Joe Rogan was on the same show, and I guess he contacted Joe and was like, "Hey, I'm going to this show," and Joe was like, "Okay, let me get you like a bunch of comp tickets or whatever," and then they ended up talking so long backstage that he actually missed his friend go up because he was talking with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan went early apparently because he wanted to get his new jokes in there early so he could get out of there. But he ended up missing his friend because he was talking to Joe Rogan so long on the backstage. I guess they've been friends ever since. And he was saying how crazy it is. Like, usually someone would have like every reason to like be enemies with the person that's coming from another organization.
Yeah.
That
I thought that too.
is always like the person who's compared to and contrasted from.
Yeah, no, like I thought that too.
Yeah,
I was like,
I mean, it's a person great. I don't think they should.
No. The thing about it,
that'd be like the UFC try to build it up to where it's like a rivalry between
Yeah, no. I seriously,
it's all love at the end of the day.
I didn't know that backstory. I didn't know they knew each other because I totally thought that. I was like, damn, this guy is a baby Joe Rogan. Even when he was on Bellator, I thought that, and I was like, damn, I wonder how Joe feel about him coming here and doing that. But anyway,
I remember Jimmy on Fight Quest, man. You guys remember Jimmy on Fight Quest?
No, I remember that. I don't Fight Quest.
He did a show called Fight Quest on, I believe, the National Geographic or Discovery Channel maybe 8 years ago, where he traveled the world practicing different martial art forms, and he would compete at the end of like a 2-week period against whoever the toughest fighter was in that discipline. And so like they, at the time I think Jimmy was fighting MMA, and they had another guy that went with just like a Army Ranger or something, just a tough guy that don't have no fighting ability. And so they would go to Brazil and train jiu-jitsu and then compete against the best jiu-jitsu practitioner down there at the end of the week. They, go to China and Korea, Thailand. It was all over the world.
I think they revamped that, man. I think they just revamped that.
Yeah, the original was Jimmy Smith and another guy. I can't think of his name. But that's when I first was introduced to Jimmy.
Because Frank Grillo's doing that for Netflix now.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's definitely a revamp. Then that's 100% a revamp.
They probably got the old episodes.
Yeah, it's called Fight Quest though. It's called Fight Quest.
I never heard of that.
You can find it anywhere.
Never heard of that.
It's all over YouTube, everywhere. Fight Quest.
That's cool. Well, shit, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see the whole event. We got our predictions in. I'm pretty sure most of our predictions people agree with, especially Thug Rose. But anyway, Prince, you got anything else to say to wrap this up?
Nah, man, I'm done. All I gotta say is Khabib time, man. Say it with a I wish I could say it with a triple G. I wish I could say it with a triple G.
I heard about that. I heard about that. That's a different show.
Hey, Khabib accent. This should be the big drama show.
Edward Payson, do you got anything to plug or say before you wrap this up as well?
Sure. Go on Facebook and check out the fan pages for my newest films. One is called The Sunday Night Slaughter, and it stars Corey Feldman, and the other is a very special documentary called Our Friend John, which gives a voice to some kids with some disabilities that otherwise probably wouldn't have gotten a voice. So just check those out. They're both on Facebook.
Yeah, definitely support those movies. I definitely want to see Sunday Night Slaughters. I know he's been working on that for a while. Me and Ted worked on a film that I wrote. You know, he produced and directed and stuff as well. But anyway, that's quite a snuff film. But anyways, thank you guys for dropping in and helping me out with the predictions. Not helping me out, I already knew I could predict, but helping me out with the show and giving y'all predictions and all y'all great information on MMA that I didn't even know about, especially Fight Quest and all that good stuff. Once again, people, please like, subscribe, and as always, please keep it Tetsu.